Welcome to the Cricket Badger IPL Daily Podcast 2021. The Indian Premier League 14th edition. It's great to have you with us. From the first match all the way to the final. Chennai Super Kings, Delhi Capitals, Kolkata Knight Riders, Mumbai Indians, Punjab Kings, Rajasthan Royals, Royal Challengers Bangalore, Sunrisers Hyderabad. May the best team win. Brought to you in association with Who Knows Wins. Put your money where your mates are, and play along with the Cricket Badger.
Hello everybody, welcome back. It is the Cricket Badger back in situ with glasses on. I can see people again. And thank you very much indeed to Nakul Pandey for stepping in over the last couple of days. Did a sterling job, and he'll be back on the show very soon indeed. We are here to talk about all things IPL, and I'm joined, I'm pleased to say, by Naman Shah, Rito Maitra and Raj Yadav to talk about the cricket today. And we've seen RCB taking a very important win for them, takes them on to the cusp of the playoffs after beating the Rajasthan Royals. That leaves the Rajasthan Royals in a little bit of a tricky situation. They need to win every single game, I think, from here on. And even that might not be enough to see them into the playoffs. Let's start with you, Naman. Great performance today. Glenn Maxwell, 250s in a row now. He's gone past 7,000 runs in T20 cricket. He seems to be absolutely loving life with RCB.
Yes, a lot. And if you'll see, that platform was always set by the two openers. They are looking in good touch, both Kohli and Padikkal. They played well also in the last match. So the middle order is getting quite a good platform to come in. And also Bharat is playing well. I am loving his technical skills. He is not just going berserk every ball. He is into that singles and doubles and targeting a few deliveries here and there and going for sixes and boundaries. But overall, yes, Maxwell is always an asset, no matter which team he plays. He's making up for his struggle he has had in last 2-3 years in IPL, and it's good to see him playing in such slower pitches in UAE where most of the hitters are struggling. He is taking his own time, so it's also a lesson for other players like Livingston, Russell, who are just coming in and going for the sixes right from ball one. They should see how Maxwell is pacing his innings, and in just 1 over, he just completed the match of Morris, went for 22 runs. So, likes of Livingston and everyone are capable of doing that. So, it's a good template for like these hitters going into the World Cup. So, yes, brilliant innings by Maxwell, accompanied by Bharat.
Raj, you could see the steam coming out of Chris Morris's ears when Glenn Maxwell was edging him over the tops of keepers and what have you. He kind of got away with a few there, Glenn Maxwell, but that's what happens. If you get to the end, you try and boost your net run rate, a bowler's going to either get a wicket or he's going to go down, and he's going to go for a few.
Absolutely, and I guess the way Maxwell was playing today, I think Chris Morris got away with it, because if they had a little more runs on the board, then perhaps Maxwell would have chased that as well in the kind of form that he was in. And he was very angered in the end at Morris. They had a few exchange of words. Maxwell looked in tremendous touch, and like Naman pointed out, he's setting a template for other batters to bat in UAE, especially in these slow conditions. Every game when Maxwell performs, the commentator asks him the common question that what is special about RCB that you're performing in RCB and you did not end up performing in other franchises, and his answer is the same, that the environment is happy as the other franchises. But most importantly, I think the cushion which AB de Villiers provides him, because AB de Villiers is the one who will come to bat after Maxwell. So that cushion which AB de Villiers provides to a player like Maxwell, Maxwell, he's said it in the past as well, that Maxwell does not like to be the main man of a franchise. So
he said that as well today, Raj. He said it in his answer in that interview. Yeah. He said, we probably don't do anything different here at RCB. It's just the culture we've created, kind of thing. But we're not putting all of the pressure on one player. And I read that as meaning that he's sometimes felt at other franchises that he's had too much on his shoulders.
Absolutely. I think that's what enables Maxwell to do well at RCB, I feel, because you have AB de Villiers below you, definitely you're not going to feel pressure, because AB de Villiers more than often, takes you through and makes you win games. So for a player like Maxwell, he enjoys that position to bat on, where you have Virat Kohli at the top of the order, you have AB de Villiers to follow you. So this is the kind of thing which eases a lot of pressure on Maxwell, and Maxwell flourishes. And it was a good knock today again from him. He's been in tremendous form this IPL.
Rito, Glenn Maxwell, the big show. Last time we were in the UAE, he didn't have the greatest tournament, did he? He was playing for the Kings 11 Punjab, or the Punjab Kings, whatever they were called back then, and kept on failing. But he's a different player.
Yeah, James. Probably Glenn Maxwell had his standout season in 2014 again when the IPL was played in the UAE for Kings 11 Punjab. But ever since he has moved to RCB, he has looked a different player. He has just embraced the role that that Kohli and Mike Hassan has bestowed upon him, and he has just revealed himself under them. And talking about today's game, James, Rajasthan Royals were set up beautifully at a position of 100 for 1 after 11 overs, and they had that inexplicable collapse, and it just fell apart for them over there. This pitch looked like the best of the pitches so far we have had in this competition. We have had too many slow and low pitches which are not ideal for T20 cricket at all. We want pitches that suit stroke making where the ball
We want a
flies
mixture,
throughout
Rito. We want a mixture. We want some tight games. We want some low scoring games. We want some big scoring games. We don't want every pitch to be the same, do we?
Yeah, I don't mind the odd pitch where the batsmen have to graft it out, but T20 fundamentally is meant for big hitters. It's meant for the ball to fly out to you from Leeds to Bradford, James.
I can hear just behind me around the world bowlers shouting at you, Rito, saying we need something for the bowlers too. Evan Lewis, Naman. Terrific innings from him at the top of the order for Rajasthan Royals. 58 off 37, 8 boundaries in there. He got off to a flyer, didn't he, for Rajasthan? One shot too many, but that was the problem for all of the Rajasthan batsmen. They just played one shot too many, didn't they?
Yes, but I won't blame Lewis for that. I felt that innings was due, and he was hitting it nicely previously as well. He was caught in when he was going for a pull in the last match, but today also he fell short, but he made up for that, and he is a dangerous player, and I always feel that he is underrated, and you cannot just keep him out of the game, and especially in the power play overs. So overall, I feel that he had both the openers. Even Jaiswal played well. They set the stage up for the middle order. And for this statement, I won't agree to Rito. I don't think so. They have inexperienced batting lineup except Longlore. I feel Parag and the likes of Tewatia, they have played enough for 5PL now, and this is a huge stage and in a big stage, and they are playing playing under Sangakara, so lot of experience there, and they have played in India, and they have played so many matches. So they are making same mistakes again and again, and they should have, at least one of them should have gone and batted till the end. But overall, I would say it is Rajasthan's batting order to blame themselves, and also Livingston not firing them. So they are clearly missing likes of Butler and everyone in the team. So they are doing their best, but uh, yeah.
You're going to miss players like that, Naman, aren't you? I mean, the most expensive players in the Rajasthan Royals lineup are absent, aren't they? And that's going to have an effect. I heard KP Naman saying on the commentary that 58 isn't enough for Evan Lewis. He should have gone on and gotten through and batted all the way through. I mean, not even KP did that all of the time. I think what Evan Lewis did was set the platform for me, and he needed somebody to come in behind him and add to it.
Yes, and also you need to see the nature of the player. He's not someone there who is going to hang around there and go for singles and doubles. He's not Joe Root or Smith or Kohli who will be playing an anchoring role and stay over there, rotate the strike, and go for slogs in a 16 to 20. So it's too hard for any West Indian, I would say, except for Shai Hope. He is a good technician over there. But yes, I won't agree to that. You are right. He played his part there, but I was just disappointed, and I have seen a lot of captaincy errors by Samson in the last match. Also, he bowled Sakaria in the 11th or 12th over. Today also he gave him third over Morris is nowhere near to his form, and he's bowling very wayward lengths. And Kohli and Padikkal are good players; they're in good form. When you want to win all the matches, your best bowlers need to bowl up front. So first over should have been bowled by Sakaria. He gave him third over, and then after he came directly in the sixth over. So I feel your best bowlers need to come up front, especially against the side like RCB with so batting heavy. So I feel Samsung is also a young captain, is learning there. But yes, just like we mentioned, best batsmen need to play more deliveries. He also best bowlers need to bowl up front with the new ball to take good wickets.
He dropped a catch as well, Sanju, didn't he, today, which he should have taken. And I think that's because his mind was full of IPL tactics rather than actually catching the ball. Raj, it's going to be difficult for Rajasthan, isn't it? Because they've lost Josh Butler, they've lost Ben Stokes, they've lost their best bowler, probably the best bowler in the tournament, arguably, in Jofra Archer. Jasprit Bumrah fans might have something to say about that, but there's not a lot between those two. Coming back into this second part of the IPL is going to be was always going to be a big ask. Sanju Samson after the game today said, "We've got nothing to lose. We're coming into this second half of this competition with absolutely nothing to lose. There's no expectation on us." That's probably the attitude they need, isn't it? Just go out there and play fearless cricket.
Absolutely, with the likes of Butler, Stokes, Archer missing, that's the kind of attitude that you need to have to win the remaining games, as you pointed out. I actually expected Rajasthan Royals to do a lot better in the second half of the IPL, even though their big guns were missing. Because Rajasthan Royals as a franchise historically, leaving aside the last 3 years where they spent heavily on, say, the likes of Morris, Archer, Butler, Stokes, but otherwise, historically, Rajasthan Royals is a franchise which is known to, trust their Indian contingent and find players, especially which started right from the Vaughan era in 2008.
Yeah.
So they are known to find these small players to make big names. So I was expecting Rajasthan Royals to come back very strongly in the second half of the IPL with especially these big names missing, because that would give more freedom to these youngsters. You would have Evan Lewis, Liam Livingstone. These are no mug replacements. So these are very, very good replacements if you're talking about. Livingstone was in hot form when he came directly from the 100. Evan Lewis came back from a brilliant CPL. Mustafizur, he found his form back this year when he played for Bangladesh against those slow pitches in Dhaka and Mirpur. So I was expecting, Rajasthan Royals to give a strong fight, but somehow, I think they have a little less experience in the middle order. They tried with Shivam Dube in the first half of the IPL. Lone Road was good in patches, but then Parag and Tewatia, I think their number 5 and number 6 have let them down. They should have shouldered more responsibility in those middle overs. And Samson, as soon as the likes of big players like Stokes and Butler missing, Samson has more or less become an anchor who wants to finish games for Rajasthan Royals. So he is kind of curbing his natural instincts there as well. And we had a discussion in the WhatsApp group as well just before the game that they are power play bowling, where Archer used to give them crucial wickets up front, which Naman mentioned that they held it back. Sakaria for the third over probably should have bowled him with the first over. So they're lacking power play wickets. There are a lot of loopholes in this Rajasthan Royals side, but going forward, they just have to play fearless cricket. Mega auctions coming ahead in the next 3 months. So this will be the last time where this group would be playing together as a whole. So perhaps create good memories and try to take this forward.
Rito, Raj there mentioned Chris Morris, and Naman's mentioned him as well in terms of the form he's brought into this second part of the IPL. He doesn't look anywhere near the bowler that he did last season. He's been picking up wickets in the past. He's been very economical in the past. He's taken power play wickets like Raj just mentioned is what Rajasthan Royals are needing. But Chris Morris looks a little bit of a shadow of his former self in this tournament.
Yeah, he sure does. And when he is the most expensive foreign player in the IPL, obviously, when his performance goes down, the scanner is going to be on him, obviously. and it's never easy to come back from such a place.
Do you think that plays a
Yeah,
part, Rito? The price tag. Do you think that plays a part with some players because you have to try and live up
yeah,
to it? It's like in the Premier League. You see, I mean, a player like Jack Grealish in the Premier League to go into the football sort of side of things, £100 million price tag. He goes to Manchester City. He looks like somebody who revels in that kind of pressure. He revels in the attention. He loves that kind of thing. Other players, though, shrink in that kind of pressure, don't they? Do you think Morris has been affected?
yeah, I do think even Rajasthan had another player, that's Jaydev Unadkat, who they bought for some 11 crores something, and he just couldn't take that in. As soon as next season, when they released him and bought it for a lesser price, his performances got better. So there are players who just can't take that price tag on them, that heavy price tag. And when was the last time Chris Morris played cricket? I don't think he has his undercooked. So obviously his lines and lengths have not been great, and he's bowling in the right slot for the batsman to hit him to all parts.
It's a good point that Rito makes there, Naman. Morris has been without cricket to a degree. AB only ever plays in this tournament, really. Nowadays, maybe another one here and there. But I even felt for him today. He came in with 1 run required. His first ball, he hit it for 4. Fair play to him. But if he'd been out on that ball, then the run would have continued, wouldn't it? It's difficult, isn't it, if you're not playing a lot of cricket to come into a tournament like this, which is quite high octane, and hit the ground running.
Yes, on top of that, with all the COVID restrictions, staying in bio bubble and not much cricket happening, and also being in tandem with your fitness, it's asking a lot from players' point of view. But overall, yes, the price tag does play a good role, but somewhere you down the line you have to see the form and everything. They are not playing Shreyas Gopal, who is a terrific spinner. I feel they are underrating him too much. You are not playing Shamsi, who is number one spin bowler right now in
Yeah, that
T20s.
makes no sense,
Number
does it?
one
That
bowler.
makes no sense. Shamsi's a really good player, and he can't get
Yes.
anywhere near the 11.
Yes, and this is where they are failing to pick wickets. Like from sixth over till the 15th over, they have no one who will be giving them wickets. They are just bowling in Longlore, they are bowling in Tewatia. They are just, it's like random bowling bowlers they are present in the T20s. You cannot win matches like that against good teams. So they have plenty of things to rectify. And overall, yes, I am. First over itself, the entry of Morris in this second half was really wayward. I felt he bowled around 12 to 13 deliveries with 4 to 5 wides. Itself was a huge example for the RR to get into this stage. They should have used more bowlers. Ocean Thomas was coming out of CPL. They could have used him also, as we mentioned. Shamsi, he should have been played in all the matches. He should have played at least one spinner. They are playing 4 fast bowlers. I mean, that is too much. You cannot let spinners stay away from UAE pitches in many matches. So overall, yes, they need to figure out their squad as soon as possible. And to be honest, I don't see them qualifying ahead. I don't see this threatening a team threatening that much.
It's strange, Raj, isn't it? How we've just talked about Morris there. He seems to have lost his form with the big price tag. Some of the other players that had the big price tag, the Australians, Cummins, Jai Richardson, they're not even back for the second half of the tournament. That little mini auction that we had ahead of this event ended up with a lot of the big name players, all the big price players, not actually really playing the part we expected.
Absolutely, and that's what happens if you have a packed schedule. You know, cricketers are playing a lot of cricket right now across the world with COVID restrictions, with bio bubble, with the World Cup nearing, with the Ashes right after the World Cup. You know, a lot of these players want to have focused areas. I think few of the cricketers want to play the World Cup together with the Ashes. That is one of the strong reasons that I see that they have missed the IPL. But other than that, I think it's a lot to do with the workload of these players moving bubble to bubble, staying away from their families. That is why they choose to take this decision. And I think we should respect that. But having said that, a price tag also, you know, varies individual to individual. Like you pointed out, Jack Grealish is someone who relishes that challenge. But maybe Morris also, if you see the first half of this IPL that was in India, I think in a game against where he played in Mumbai, where he single-handedly won that game at the Wankhede Stadium. So Morris was definitely looking in some form coming into this IPL. But one important thing I noticed about Morris, second half of the IPL that he's gained some weight. So definitely, staying away from cricket, I think he's lost a bit of body shape. That also plays a big part, I think, because you definitely see that Morris is a bit bulked up. In the first half of the IPL, he was leaner and slimmer, and perhaps that helped a little more as well. But yes, I think COVID, bio bubble, all these restrictions, the workload of these players, which needs to be managed. That is why you see a lot of these players missing the IPL.
It's not the best way, Raj, for Morris to try and replicate his price tag, though, is it? By coming back and bowling like he's doing at the moment. He's not going to go for the same money next time, is he?
Yeah, he's definitely not going to go for the same money. That's because we have because he's out of form. So definitely his stocks have gone a bit low considering the current scheme of things. And number two, because of the mega auctions, you will have a larger pool of players available to choose from, even though you would have two new franchises coming in, which would inflate a lot of prices for these players. But there will be a lot of other options as well, where all these teams would put on all their released players on the auction pool to choose from. So definitely, Morris would be going
two
for
more
less
teams
price.
though. Two more teams
Two
to
more
go
teams.
to as well, so that might play a part. Rito, I've been quite impressed with Stricker Barrett at number 3 for RCB. He played nicely today, a couple of very good big shots as well. Got out for 44 today, but he's not somebody I'd really heard of too much before this season's IPL, and he's taking his opportunities, isn't he?
Yeah, he surely is, James. Even I haven't heard a lot about Shikhar Bharat, and ever since he has been given that wicket-keeping role in the RCB side, he has taken it with both hands. And probably there was a 52 for the taking today. He will be disappointed to have missed out, but he will get many more opportunities. Looking at the way that RCB are playing, they surely now have probably set a foot into that playoff table.
I really liked Glenn Maxwell's answer to the question he was asked after the game when somebody asked about Barrett. The experiment of Barrett batting at number 3 is working, and Maxwell shot straight back with, it's not an experiment. He's a top order batsman. He's a very fine player. I like that. I thought, you're backing up your teammates and what have you. Rito, another person who came in today, George Garton, the Sussex bowler, who's had a very good summer in England, had a troublesome first couple of overs. He was a bit expensive first up, but very well thought of in the England setup, and I think he was included in one of the ODI squads and never played earlier on in the summer. But it's a massive opportunity for him, isn't it, to show what he can do ahead of the mega auction. If he can get a few wickets, his price goes up.
Yeah, absolutely. Ahead of the mega auction, as we are talking about, George Garton, he has impressed one and all playing for Southern Brave this summer in the 100, and it's the IPL where you want to really perform. James. So
You're not allowed to mention that
the
tournament on here, Rito.
Okay, so the forbidden tournament. Okay, James. So George Garton. Yeah, obviously, his first over went for 3 runs, but it was the most auspicious of starts. And then Evan Lewis took a liking to him in a second over, but he came back well, and he took Evan Lewis's wicket in the 3rd over, although he went for 30 runs at an economy of 10 per over. But it will do him a lot of good. But one England player that I'm most worried about, James, in the RR side is Liam Livingstone. England have put a lot of eggs in that Liam Livingstone basket, but the way he is playing his form and the way he is playing on this UAE pitches is not putting a lot of hopes on me for that T20 World Cup.
He'll be fine, Rito. Don't you panic. He'll be fine when it comes to the crunch matches. Liam Livingstone strikes me actually as being somebody who raises his game when it really matters, and probably he thinks that this is just going through the motions with Rajasthan Royals a little bit, and he'll be waiting for the T20 World Cup. Naman.
James.
Naman. Who has cut AB de Villiers' hair? Naman's gone all quiet on me.
Sorry, I lost your voice.
Who has cut AB de Villiers' hair? Who is responsible for that?
AB de Villiers?
Yeah. Have you seen his haircut?
Haircut.
Raj, you take the question because Naman looks perplexed.
Sorry,
I really don't know who is
breaking a lot. Sorry.
I really don't know who his hairdresser is, but Pat Cummins also uploaded a picture at the Instagram today that he has had a haircut, and they were pointing out at Abhishek Nair, the batting consultant of Kolkata Knight Riders. But looks like all these fancy weirdo haircuts are in fashion, and you need to grab eyeballs during the IPL.
It does seem that it's a regular trend in the IPL, doesn't it? Because I think the last time we were in the UAE, a lot of the Australians had little mullets going on, didn't they? And very strange haircuts. It seems to be a kind of you get dared by your teammates, or somebody gets the responsibility of cutting the hair a strange way. There does seem to be some very strange haircuts around.
Looks like, and if you watch the Mumbai Indians documentary Cricket Fever on Netflix, Mumbai Indians had set a tradition where whoever comes late for the training, they have to wear a jumper suit. So similarly, you might have these rituals where whoever comes in late maybe gets a haircut. So we don't know these inside stories as soon as they are out, but in the IPL, a lot of these haircuts are in fashion, and they do it to up their PR game as well. So the social handles, want a little bit of spice when it comes to the IPL.
I really hope we get another one of those kind of documentaries. That Mumbai Indians Cricket Fever was exceptional in giving you a little bit of an insight about how things work behind the scenes. I know we're getting quite a lot of very good social media accounts from all of the franchises, really. You get to see a few of the team talks. You get to see behind the scenes a little bit, because that to me is what, Rita, you want as a fan watching from outside. You can see what happens on the pitch. You can read the scorecards. You know what players look like, but you want to see how they go behind the scenes, what they're like as people, don't you?
Yeah, and brings the fans closer to the team, even from afar. Probably you know all the players from in to out, how they are, how they gel with each other, and that's what you really want from as a franchise. You can't get that from the national teams, obviously, for different reasons. But with franchises where there is a bit of fun, they want this kind of thing. And coming back to that hairdos, I think in the UAE, with the kind of heat that they have, they want to shave all from their head.
Well, looks like AB de Villiers just shaved half of his off, and the rest of it has just stayed somewhere on top. And then he's got a little funny little ponytail right at the very top of his head. Very strange. Looks like when you get little girls playing with dolls and they do it with elastic bands, it looks like somebody's been at AB de Villiers in the same way. Now, man, if we come back to the table, CSK and Delhi Capitals look certain, I think, to go through now. 16 points apiece. They're almost booked in. I think actually it's mathematically impossible for CSK not to qualify. But CSK DC are pretty much through. RCB on 14 points are, 3 games left. Even with 14, they might get through, but you'd anticipate they're going to get more. So it looks like the top 3 are pretty much into the final 4. Then you've got KKR, Mumbai Indians on 10 points just behind them, and then Punjab Kings, Rajasthan Royals on 8. Further back, is it a straight shootout now in your head between KKR and Mumbai Indians for 4th place, or do you think we could see a Punjab Kings or a Rajasthan Royals going on a terrific run for the final 3 matches?
No, I even don't see KKR. Yes, they are playing nicely. Sorry, Rito. But overall, you cannot win matches by just one or two players performing. But overall, somewhere, yes, I spoke it earlier also when we began the pod. I feel that the top 4, which was in this first half, will remain the same, and MI is going to qualify along with RCB, Chennai, and DC. Yes, somewhere down the line, Punjab and all will come and fight back, but I still don't think so. They are having the right players over there. Yes, the bowling department is looking good, but their middle order is struggling. Makram is playing well, and only Rahul. Rest of the players are struggling. But overall, I feel when the tempo is high and when it is much needed, you will see the Mumbai Indians pitching in at the right time, as we saw last night. So
And they
they are right
have
now in the right sense,
experience.
and they know how to.
Yeah, exactly. They have that experience. They've done
Yes,
it before, so they know how to
they
do
have
that,
that
don't they?
experience. Yes,
Yeah. So you're going to go with CSK,
yes,
DC, RCB, and Mumbai Indians. Raj, have you got any difference in opinion to
yes.
that? You see it the same way?
I think Mumbai definitely has the experience and the kind of pedigree it takes to be the 4th spot. But maybe slightly I might differ with Naman. I think KKR is going to tip for the fourth spot. And that's because KKR, especially in this second half of the IPL, has shown the right amount of intent and the right amount of aggression when it comes to closing down these matches. So, Venkatesh Iyer has been a fantastic addition to the squad. Mumbai can definitely bring in a surprise and put in a series of performances, but I see KKR tipping Mumbai Indians ahead for the fourth spot.
I saw Rito's face nodding and smiling there. He's very much behind KKR. I don't even need to ask Rito that question. Two very quick points to finish with before we say goodbye today. I think it's wonderful. Ashutosh on the questions has said, good news, Kohli back with captaincy form ahead of World Cup, Rito. But yes, I can take that point, but I love the way after matches he goes and finds some of the young players from the opposition and he stands and talks to them and has a proper conversation, finds out a little bit about how they're doing and really kind of shows an interest in them. That shows he's thinking about his captaincy role with India, and that must be very special to a young Indian player getting that chat.
Yes, he really looks like he's focused on that RCB role now. Well, there were a couple of things sitting on his shoulder about the Indian T20 captaincy and RCB captaincy. Now that he has announced that he will give them up, so it has freed him up really. Even in the England series, he was playing well, but he was getting out. So now in the IPL, probably that was really the stress buster that he needed, and it has provided him that platform.
Now, Anne, do you like the way that Virat's talking to some of the youngsters after matches?
Yes, a lot. And I only believe that these are the fruits of such a big league in the world. Yes, the teams will win and they lose, but these are the youngsters who are learning and coming up for their own country, not only for India, for other countries as well, just like Garton, Ellis, and all are making players for every country. So these are the fruits of IPL, and we look up to this kind of performances, and the juniors are gelling with the seniors. So this is the kind of friendship and the learning which this stage provides. Like, who would have thought a year who was going for chartered accountant examination is now next to Kohli and Dhoni. So this is a kind of fantastic journey, and we have already heard about Sakaria and everyone. So this is what we look for, right? Like of Sakaria, Iyer, and all, like coming from no backgrounds.
You know me. You know me now, man. I love Sakaria. God, his smiley little face. He's just absolutely full of the joys of playing in the IPL. It just looks like he's enjoying every single second. There's only Neil, I think, Venkatesh Iyer, the former chartered accountant, now IPL star. There's only Neil thinks he's gone in the wrong direction. Neil, another chartered accountant. So with Raj, does a final question on Virat? Does he win his first IPL as captain, and does he win the T20 World Cup and then give up the reins? Does he go out on a high?
I think so. The IPL win will definitely boost his chances of India winning the World Cup, because that would put Virat in the right frame of mind and would get the monkey off his shoulder. So monkey off his back, and it's going to be just the perfect thing for Virat to be in the position. But I think he's going to end on a high. I have a strong feeling of RCB winning this time.
They've got every chance. They're playing well. They're playing well. One last question. We're going to go around very quickly. You are in charge of a franchise at the next mega auction. You have all of the budget. You have it all of the craw sitting on the table in front of you. Who is the one player that's at the top of your list that would be right at the first pick for your franchise? Rito, let's start with you. Who would you go for?
ABD.
Tell you what, I was going to go ABD as well, purely because I'd want to have lunch with him and dinner with him and just talk to him, because I just think he's wonderful. Naman, what about you?
I'll go for Warner for CSK. He needs Dhoni's camaraderie, and he needs to play under him. I'll go for.
You think Dhoni's got
Warner.
the healing hands, and Warner would be sorted out? What about you, Raj? Who would you go for?
I would go for Kieron Pollard if he's
100%.
released. I would go for Kieron Pollard if he's released.
No chance.
Kieron Pollard. ABD, Kieron Pollard. I'd have Chris Gale to sort out with the social secretary, because that would make it very entertaining, I think, wouldn't it? and probably have Jofra in there. Got to have Jofra and Jasper opening the bowling. How about that? I've got no budget left, but we've got a fantastic first 5 in the side. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me today. It's been a pleasure being back on my own podcast and taking it back off Knackle, because I'm sure he was trying to keep it. But thank you again to him. Thank you to Raj, to Rito, and to Naman for joining me today. And of course, we'll be back again tomorrow. More IPL action and more IPL chat. We will see you